My name is Donald Boström. I'm a Swedish journalist. I'm a Swedish photojournalist because I'm writing and I'm shooting the pictures. I normally work abroad, very seldom in Sweden, so this area, the Horn of Africa and especially Eritrea, have been my place for a big part of my professional life. My second area is the Middle East, Palestine, Israel, and the others area. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. My first encounter with Eritrea started before I came here, actually, because there were two other Swedes who came here writing, taking the pictures. They were a friend of mine, and when they returned back, we spent time in the dark room, and they're showing me the pictures when they appear in the red light, dark room red light, and while they were explaining about Eritrea. So they taught me everything in the dark room in Sweden. So even before I came to Eritrea, I knew a lot. But unfortunately, Göran Aspring, many Eritreans knew about him. He was killed in Gashparka, an ambush. It's a very big loss, and we were so sad. The other man, Lars Bondestam, he wrote a book about Eritrea. We planned to come here in the end of the 80s together, and in January, but in December I opened the morning paper, and then he was killed. So I felt I had kind of the duty to continue what they have started, and since they have taught me most of everything about Eritrea, I felt I was able to do it. So from '87 I started traveling the area myself. This is Tagadalai. He took the helmet from the Derg soldier, and particularly here, the Derg came in three fronts attacking. So we were actually very scared, very afraid. So these guys cut bushes, and we were hiding under the bushes, very nervous. And they actually took a cigarette, and passing the cigarette of nervosity. You can see in his eyes something is happening. And actually, this time, 1987, was the first time I thought maybe this is the time I will die. Maybe we will not make it or survive, but they didn't see us, and they continue, and we could continue later on. And also, this is one of my favorite pictures, because when I see it, it attached my feelings, but also as a photography, kind of a classic war, black and white photography. When I saw the moon, our moon in Sweden in the north is another way. So this was the first time I actually saw the moon lying, sleeping. So I felt I will take a picture of the moon, but that's boring. So I asked the guys, please stand up. But it's so dark, so how can I take a photo of the moon and the guys in the same time? So this is lesson number one. I exposed the moon by opening the shutter. Then I walked away with a flash in my hand, and I exposed to the guys by the flash. Then I walked back to the camera and closed the shutter. So this means I exposed the moon for long exposure time, and the guys with the flash. So if you are out on the fields, this is the way to do it. And of course, again, emotional. After liberation of Massawa, the Ethiopians continue to bomb, and people have to leave the city and hide around the cities. And yeah, there was fear as well. I entered one of these cranes in the port of Massawa, listened for the bomb plane to come. I was a little bit afraid. Are they coming? But instead of the bomb plane, dolphins came here. I think they saw me actually, because they gathered under where I was and kind of waving and making the sounds. So it became a very nice, from fear to a big smile. And of course, the last front of the long 30 years war in Decamhara. I was joking with the guy, saying, hey, I'm here with the camera. I'm the only reporter in the world, so let's capture and liberate Massawa. It was a joke, but they say, yeah. And but they told me if we do it, it will be like Massawa, a lot of dead people and destruction. So plan it very wise. So it took a couple of months after, and Massawa was liberated. When I came to the Kamhari front in the morning, the sun just starting shooting the first rays. An old lady came like this, and then when she approached me, she stopped and she turned her head to me and said, "Awet ni alfash." And then she turned her head back and continued. She didn't say anything else, but I understood that the Eritreans and EPLF were so united and so strong and so stubborn and so skilled that they will for sure win and Ethiopian will fail. So that was kind of, she gave me the picture of EPLF strength in a way. And this is also a special story. After bombing in Sigeneti, people come out in late evening, market opening, and this woman saw me, I saw her, so I took a shot. I like this picture as a picture very much. I published it on Instagram just a few months ago, and this little boy and that little boy, her two sons, saw this picture on Instagram and Facebook, and they both live in Sweden now. I didn't know. So they were very happy. They sent it to their mothers, now living in Saudi Arabia. So we are in touch 30 years later, or 29 years later, we are in touch again with each other. So it's touched. Everything has so many sides, and it affects your heart and soul and brain in different ways and for different reasons. Sometimes for happiness, sometimes for beautiness, sometimes for sadness, but it gives an emotional impact. Yeah, and that was of course interesting when they asked me to exhibit these pictures. I started digging on the memory lane, so to speak, and it was very emotional. Wow, I was surprised, so many emotions for different reasons. I remember my killed friends, and sometimes I have almost been killed myself. So, yeah, you see, it's emotional already. And to see Nakfa, I remember there was not a single building that was in ruins, so it was a very special memory as well. So I will go back, I hope I can go back and see how Nakfa looks today. Of course, one of the strongest moments in my life is when I came with the first flight after liberation, landing in Asmara, with people coming back after 30 years, 25 years, etc., etc. Imagine meeting your homeland after 30 years or 25 years. It was so strong emotion. And then I followed some of them looking for their families in my Aini and in the Kamhara, etc. Are my mother living or are they dead? There was no internet or Wi-Fi. They haven't been in touch for 20 years. So imagine when we try to remember the house. Oh, maybe this is my house. No, maybe that's my house. And knocking at the door, and the mother actually opens the door. It was fantastic. So that's what I told you before about, we don't know about peace process. So the peace process was shocking as the war process. It was really, I still remember it very, very strongly. Yeah, here's Isaias Afewerki announcing a free, independent country after referendum, 93. And that was the EPLF demand since early stage to have a referendum. That was the main number one. Here's one example. Marit, she came from Milano after 19 years, had never been in touch with her family since she left. And we were looking for her house, and yeah, her mother and sister came out. You can imagine how they are screaming, you're still alive. Yeah, and all over meeting people coming back. They were walking from Ethiopia, walking from Sudan, they coming with flights, etc. So it was It's a very, very special moment. And then to start to reconstruct the country. The Derg had literary kind of empty Eritrea. The money from the banks, books from the libraries, etc. So you have to start from zero, actually. And referendum. And the whole surrounding world actually agreed that this referendum, when 99.8% voted for independence, actually was true. Normally, it just make up figures, but all observers, from international observers, agreed, yeah, this was actually reflecting the truth from the Eritrean people. Yeah, reconstructing. Tragically and unfortunately, there was a second war. So this is from the trench in Badme. And it caused about 1 million internal refugees in Eritrea. And I'm so happy actually to show my pictures from Eritrea for Eritreans in Eritrea. And I'm very curious to hear your reflections. I mean, I'm not from Eritrea, and have you seen enough of those kind of pictures or not? Or do you like them or not? Yeah, so I'm happy. But what we did, it's just, a storyline, a timeline from 1987, from my first pictures, and then further on in the process, during the war, during the peace, referendum, reconstruction, a second war, the peace after the second war, and beautiful landscapes. So it's a kind of the timeline I have experienced myself. The country, the landscape, the sceneries, the stunning sceneries, and this one is on the road from Asmara to Massawa, Filfil area. I was stunned how extremely beautiful it actually is. And this picture in particular is very like a painting, like taken from the Bible. So I personally like it very much. That's why we did a poster, especially from this picture. This is actually on the same road, and I can never stop thinking about that family that lived up there alone. It could have not been an easy life, a beautiful life, but I think it's supposed to be kind of hard life, to be lonely. Today our answer is, it seems to work, you seem to like it, we have fantastic comments about it. So the plan or the plan we want to do is of course to continue. I mean, now we have the exhibition here in Asmara. For me, it's very natural to continue to Massawa in February during celebration of Fenkel. And from there to Nakfa, it will be big honor. And from Nakfa to Keren, Alphabet, Tessenei maybe. So that's the plan we want. This is also a typical shy Eritrean girl. That's why it touched me very much. And I noticed that many Eritreans like to see this picture from Asmara from '91, the blue taxis, a kind of old-fashioned picture. The opinion they shared with me was, like you actually already expressed it, powerful, professional, strong pictures. They were also, some of them told me they were surprised. They haven't seen my work. They have seen me, but not my work, so they were surprised that I was actually able to take photos like this. Oh, have you taken these pictures? Wow. So, but on the other hand, on an opening day like this, everybody is nice to you, everybody's positive. But so, by your experience, you learn to see whether it's true or not. I mean, you're always nice to people, but I could see, and I believe that they were really, I would not say impressed, but they really liked it and find it very strong. So that's why I just said the answer for me today is, yeah, it works. So let's continue to Massawa, Keren, and other places.